Welcome everyone to another edition of A Closer Look. I'm Donna Kastner, and today's topic is mentorship. And joining us today is Chrisse, Vice President of Project Management at Experient, and Sarah Ramrup. She is Product Manager of Data at Maritz Motivations. Welcome, Chrisse and Sarah.
Thanks, Donna.
Well, thank you for having us.
Okay, mentorship. I heard about this incredible program happening, Ignite. And Chrisse, maybe we can start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the Ignite program?
Sure. Ignite is the brainchild of Steve Maritz. It is an acknowledgement of the future emerging leaders we have all across our company and really investing in their growth and their development. Ignite is a big deal in our company. It's a 3-year program. Sarah here is in the inaugural class. Highly coveted, highly selective in terms of the candidates that are groomed and selected for the program. Sarah's undergoing, what is it, Sarah, anywhere from like 80 to 100 hours a year of various professional development. My work in the Ignite program is just a small portion of that, serving as a mentor. Sarah's going through some great, she's getting great exposure to different business divisions, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of professional development, a lot of training. It's really intended to groom and enable and ignite the future leaders in our company.
That's great. And in light of what's happening today, the talent gap, it's tough to find the people that you need. And once you do, you want to kind of help them along and nurture that talent. And here we have Sarah, and you are in this program. And as Chrisse mentioned, so you're through the first of 3 years, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So how did this all start? Did you raise your hand? How did you start in this program?
Yeah, so I think each business unit that files up under the Maritz brand approached this a little differently. In my case, for motivation, our president, Drew Carter, selected the candidates that he thought should be in the program. And I think in my area of expertise is in data and analytics. And so I think that was definitely something that he wanted to have a seat at the table. As I look at my other counterparts in Ignite, we're really representing, I think, the future of our business. We have product, we have marketing, client success, myself within data, and then we also have automotive, just because that industry is so important to us as a business. And so the process was kind of Drew picking us out based off of what he knew about us. In my case, when he told me I was going to be selected, he said that he really appreciated my enthusiasm for the business, the passion that I bring into my work. I had done a couple of side projects, just kind of casually, that were for him, and it brought a lot of visibility. And I think that's what really led to me getting into the program.
And that's so neat that, to have the leader of your division to say, you know what, I'd like you to go here. That must have been a wonderful conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was totally caught off guard, actually, but yeah, it was great.
And you're involved, with data. You're involved in an area that's constantly in motion, constantly evolving. So continuing to sharpen your skills, I would think, would be even more critical. Tell me more about the focus. So you've got this 3-year journey. How does that pan out?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that the Ignite program is structured is there are, in each year, there's a different focus area. So we've just completed year 1, where it was all about kind of understanding yourself. So we went through a series of executive appraisals, 360 reviews, personality assessments, and really identified our strengths and then, areas for growth and development. So we built out an action plan. Chrisse definitely helped me in the formation of that and making sure that I was sticking to it, which was great. And then as we go into year 2 is really about leading teams. And in my case, my role has shifted since year 1 and year 2 began. And so my role as product manager, I'm leading a team of indirect reports, which is great. So I get to be more collaborative and cross-functional, pulling folks from other parts of the organization. And then year 3 is all about leading organizations. And so in year 3, we are going to each take on a project with a couple of our Ignite counterparts, potentially something that's cross-functional and cross-business, and ultimately solve a problem that we all see within our organizations.
And let's talk about the pairing of the two of you. Okay, so this is probably a tricky thing, is to have the right mentor-mentee match. how does that happen? And I would imagine there's both, mindset, skill set, and even some chemistry as far as your personalities.
As a mentee, I filled out a questionnaire of, words that I would use to describe myself, as just like someone who's really curious and driven. And then what I want mentorship to be like. As part of the Ignite application process, we had to write 3 essays, one of which was, what is our model for mentorship? And mine was shared stake. I want to have a teammate, someone that I can rely on and that I can speak candidly to and who feels comfortable doing the same thing for me. Because I think mentorship goes both ways. And so I think, as I kind of went through the process and we had our great reveal day, I was definitely going into this hoping that the Ignite program was acknowledging that was what I was looking for in a mentor.
For me, I went through a similar kind of analysis, something that tried to capture me on paper. And Sarah and I have joked a lot. I'm not sure how they came up with the pairing they did. We come from completely different business units. I think, Sarah, it's fair to say when we were paired up, we really didn't know a lot about each other's business units.
Definitely not.
Our jobs are very different, but there are connections between the way we approach our work and our life and ambition and creativity that I don't know if they were able to tease that out in the evaluations we submitted, but it was a lucky match. And, as Sarah said, mentorship goes both ways. So it's been really kind of reinvigorating for me at this stage in my career to be able to be a little part of Sarah's journey. As she mentioned, she's changed roles. There's been a ton of evolution in her career just in the short period of time we've been working together. And I think Sarah and I find we're able to connect in just the way we go about our career path and our goals and, how we work with people that transcends our job titles in the business units that we're in.
Excellent. And such a carefully crafted program, I would imagine there's a journey you're moving through. I mean, so the conversations you have together, how often? I mean, how are you doing it? Is it a call? What do you talk about? Maybe you can help us kind of understand that a little better.
Sarah and I are I think we're one of the few pairs, Sarah, that aren't lucky enough to be in the same office location together. It seemed like there were quite a few pairs that have that. And so we knew, we had to deal with that from the beginning. When we broke from the official kind of Ignite mentee mentor program, Sarah and I just decided to go have lunch together.
Yeah.
We got to know each other as people. I learned about her life story. She learned about mine. And I think what we also share is a commitment to checking in. That's something we've really tried to honor. We don't always nail our schedule 100%, but we keep it on the calendar. We're meeting once a month via video conference. We did it just a couple hours ago today. And then increasingly, we're finding opportunities just to kind of share something via email, share just a connection. She shared something with me earlier today that I am dying for in my own role. So that's just kind of evolving naturally. But I'd say a key to the mentee-mentor relationship is both parties really being committed to the schedule. You may not always have I don't know, Sarah, what you think, but we don't always have a clear-cut agenda. But the way that our communication unfolds, even if we just have a couple things, the time fills itself really well.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree with that. And I think having that sort of natural formation when it comes to topics and scheduling has just made this feel totally organic. And like Chrissy said, sometimes we have an agenda. I think the last meeting I had planned with a couple of agenda items, and I shared a motivation framework, and I talked about what motivates Chrissy, and you gave me so much great advice about hey, that's going to change as your career shifts, and what's top of mind for Chrissy isn't top of mind for me. And it was just really great to just kind of discuss that. And I also think there's some times where Chrissy's hey, I'm thinking about this problem, how would you approach this?
Exactly.
And I think that's awesome, because I'm kind of looking into her business, looking into her role and her purview, and getting an opportunity to weigh in on that. It's been awesome.
I think video technology, it's not perfect. Once in a while there's a blip, but by and large it's strong. And when the 3 of us were on screen and start talking, I see other dynamics. You know what I mean? I can see the excitement, the enthusiasm, and you miss that on a call.
You do. I think that's helped us bridge the gap with not being in the same office together. And I think, in my line of work, there's so many phone calls, there's so many meetings, and you have such a temptation to kind of look at other things. And I think Sarah and I have been really good about, being focused in the moment, invested. Sarah right now is working out of this cool pod
Yeah.
put in her business unit. I'm envisioning it almost like a phone booth that really allows her to kind
really
of
is.
focus in. So it just gives you a better sense of, what's going on, in the here and now, where they are.
So maybe there's some folks that are tuning in and they're thinking, gosh, we should start thinking about a program like this.
Yep.
What tips would you share based on what you know right now?
So I think a big one is to really bring your full self into any sort of mentorship program. Like Chrissy said, when we first met, we did our sort of mentor kickoff. And I remember as soon as I met Chrissy, I was like, I got the best mentor here. I got someone who is conversational, who has different experiences from me, who's just like really good natured and friendly and easy to talk to. And, our sort of introduction was a little bit of work and just a little bit about our lives. And I think being able to level set on that and having someone that you can just openly share whatever's going on, I think is really key to a good mentorship relationship.
Mm-hmm. I would add that vulnerability is probably the most important ingredient in this mentee-mentor recipe. I think in a lot of ways, Sarah and I are able to achieve that because I'm not in her business unit, she's not in mine. We're not in each other's chain of command. So we're able to candidly share challenges, problems, ask questions that you might not otherwise feel comfortable doing so. But in being vulnerable, and I've been watching and reading a lot of Brene Brown, so follow along. But there's so much that I can learn about Sarah's challenges and Sarah's trajectory in this organization with her, ability to be candid and share with me real challenges she's experiencing. I think if you don't go to that level, it's very superficial and you're probably not going to accomplish much. Mm-hmm. But, Sarah's been through some stuff in the several months we've been working together, organizational changes, project changes, people coming, going, political things. And the more we're able to talk about that, the more we're able to find solutions together. This could have been a very superficial thing, and I think both of us remained committed to going a little bit deeper.
Yep. Excellent. Excellent. All right, so you're a few laps into this, and I want to thank you both for sharing your insights. And you know what? I'd love to see if I can catch you a few laps down the road and see how this is progressing. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.